And I'm recording now, just so you know.
Okay.
And we'll kind of just do like a normal conversation. If you kind of make a mistake or stumble over your words.
Does it look like I'm looking at you?
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm gonna hold it right in front of my face.
Good.
And it'll be edited as well. So,
yeah.
If you want to reformat the way you say something, go ahead. Don't worry about it.
Good.
So if you don't mind, just start by saying and spelling your name, what your title is, and where we are today.
Okay. My name is Venne Hummel. I'm a licensed clinical social worker. It's Venne, V as in Victor, E-N-E-E. Last name Hummel, H-U-M-M-E-L. And I'm a clinician at the Stephen A. Cohen Military Family Clinic at Sunderstone in Clarksville.
Great. So we just finished up our staff meeting with Dr. Hassan. This is our 14th of 14 clinics that we visited. I'm curious what you might have heard today during the Listen, Learn, and Lead Together tour, something new you might have heard, or any trends you saw emerge, something new.
It really sounded like the feedback that the staff here has was really in line with what Dr. Hassan has heard from other teams, as well as what it sounds like is being worked on at the Stamford and Silver Spring offices. So that was really encouraging, that the feedback we had, nothing seemed shocking to him or out of the usual from things that are already in the pipeline or on the brainstorming board.
Awesome. And speaking of which, was there anything that kind of stood out to you, maybe something one of your peers had said or one of your own ideas from this meeting?
I think it sounds really encouraging that they are looking at reworking the process of the post-discharge calls. I know that that'll lead to hopefully better data. I personally am very data-driven, and so that's encouraging, as well as hearing about continued focus on training so that we are all better trained in different modalities that are more geared towards children, couples, and families, since we are a family clinic.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was taking notes during the meeting as well. It seems like you guys really have kind of the perfect, and the perfect storm is probably the wrong word to say, but all of the puzzle pieces in place here to have such a phenomenally functioning clinic. I noticed one of the things was having such varied clinicians here with different specialties. Can you speak to having moved from another clinic? You don't have to say where, and we won't talk about the differences between the two clinics, but maybe in the communities, differences between the types of clients you saw then and now.
Yeah, so I guess I don't mind sharing from where I came. I came from Colleen, home of the 1st Cav, and so that's heavy armor. And so there's lots of trends in the type of deployments that those veterans had. And, they did a lot of the 12-month deployments early in the Iraq War and during the surge when things got extended to 15 months. And so knowing that really changes how you culturally adapt and meet the needs of those clients. You have an idea of kind of what type of battles they were in. And now moving here to Clarksville, where we're supporting, the home of the 101st, as well as there's a special operations group here and 160th Special Operations Aviation Regiment. I'm seeing a lot more special operations personnel and specialized units where these families and these veterans, their deployments in the past were often short but closer together, or family members of active duty where their spouses are gone maybe 6 to 9 months of the year every year, just it's broken up in 3-month pieces. And so that just really changes how you work with couples, how you work with families, the type of stressors that they have.
Excellent. That's sorry, I'm just fixing the mic here. Cool. Is there anything more do you feel like CVN could do for you in terms of resources or support? Anything that you could ask more for? That makes sense.
In general?
Yep.
Training is always great. And so I think CVN prioritizes that. And so I would say continuing with that, taking feedback on how the trainings go to continue to shape them. The best thing that goes along with training, though, is consultation. It's valuable to take 2 to 3 days out of our time, or time out of our days to do that training. But being able to follow that up with consultation, so someone's actually helping us apply those skills, I think is the best way to ensure that your clinicians are able to use the things that you all have put the funding forth to invest in us.
Awesome, that's good to hear. And then lastly, I believe Dr. Hassan had asked it in the meeting, if you had one word to describe CVN, what would that word be and why? Yeah,
the word I chose was excellence. I think we really straddle a unique position where we are invested in research through the other arm of funding that was given from the generous gift from Stephen A. Cohen, as well as clinical care. We try or I guess at the CVN network level, it seems like you all try to connect with different universities and high level experts, but then funnel that down really directly to the frontline clinicians. And so that generally is not happening in community mental health. Frontline clinicians tend to not have their pulse on what's going on in research and academics and in new skills and technologies. And so I think we really are reaching for excellence here and providing excellence to the people who deserve the best care in our country.
Awesome. And I lied. I'm going to ask one more just because you're doing so well. Now you stayed with CVN despite moving, which we love to see. Could I ask, what is your big why for CVN? Why did you start? Why do you continue with CVN and follow?
Yeah. So when I was first getting my clinical training, and in 2015, my supervisor at the time, when we were talking about my professional development goals, said, "Have you heard of Stephen A. Cohen, and have you heard of the Cohen Network?" And I said, "Nope." And she told me to keep my eye on the Cohen Veterans Network. And so it was always a goal of mine to see what was building from that. And once I was licensed, to potentially transition to one of the clinics, which is exactly what I did. I was already interviewing before I had my licensure test even scheduled. And she couldn't have been more right that this is a good fit, again, because of my interests in research and clinical care and implementation of those things. I had a great experience at the first clinic I was at, and due to military lifestyle, it would have then required a move. And the only way that I would move here is if I was able to continue my work within a network clinic. And so I feel very fortunate that I was able to do that. And I think it was a gift to me that I was able to make that transition. I think moving is really, really hard for military families. And this move has been one of my easiest moves because my work didn't change. My team changed around me, but what I do day in and day out didn't change. And so that was one less stressor. I think for this clinic, it was helpful because they didn't have to train me in the same way. So it just really worked really well, I think, for all players to be able to make that transition, and couldn't have made a better choice.
Awesome. We're glad you stuck with it as well.